In terms of the public communication, they have to be do a lot of, because lot of things are happening and people are using a social media. So there is no proper communication from the authority sides. What is in case of disaster or in case of situation where that something is given instruction given by the authority is not communicated properly. So we have that communication challenges is also there. Plus we have already done a lot of projects, a lot of infrastructures has built, but there is a huge challenge of that networking infrastructure management. Systems are failure, networks are down, but we are not getting a proper maintenance kind of thing. We don't have proper alert mechanism because we are giving very less amount of focus into the infrastructure things. We have done a lot of cabling thing, but we have not make the cables or infrastructure is a managed kind of thing. So that is again could be a challenge. So considering that three challenges, we have designed some kind of solutions as a Norden. For crime and vandalization, generally people are used, lot of cameras are there, that bullet camera, dome camera kind of things. But we generally putting a specialized because areas are larger. There should be a gray area. Once you have used that bullet camera or dome camera, there should be a kind of some black spot should be there. So we suggest you can use the 360-degree panoramic camera, which will give you a physical recognition also and give you a number plate kind of recognition also, which you can catch the offender who does the violation. That is one part which will help you in terms of crime and vandalization kind of scenario. Traffic management, again, there is a huge range now of cameras are available with inbuilt AI, which will help you into the monitor the violations in terms of speeding, illegal turns, or maybe that red light violation kind of thing. So all this coming now, the new products are coming with the AI based solutions, which will help you in terms of reducing your compute also at the data center level. Plus it will give you a kind of analytics also. In terms of, again, the public safety, there is a huge cameras are available, variety of cameras are available. Based on the requirement, we can deploy that camera and cover the maximum area, which will prevent the people, citizens, in terms of making cities safe. If something is happened, they can catch hold the who's done that particular act on that part. Again, we have that products which will help you in case of emergency will happen. If some disaster will happen in some specific places, we have a camera which will have an inbuilt pinhole camera which will be connected into your that inbuilt with come with your emergency call or SOS box system, where you can press the button, it will immediately trigger the live view of that particular location to the command control center. Plus we have that vehicle mount cameras also, which will be put it into the rapid response system kind of vehicle, where you can monitor a live situation, what is happening, and you can make a quicker decision making in terms of any thing happen. Then we have infrastructures management cables, which will be monitor you 24/7 with some inbuilt analysis, and you can do a lot of activity which will in terms of waste management also. You can give that proper checkpoint should be created connected with the IoT devices, and that will help you to make the requirement as per the environmental regulations. Morning sir said there are a lot of parking issues are there, so we have the solution for the parking management also, which will integrate it with a third party application to give you the right kind of what is the slots are available in the parking, which basement is available, how that automatically that fees can be detected from the image of the camera. Plus we have that body worn camera also, which will be very useful for the law enforcement agency for making the online documentation and interaction happening with the users. That will be used further as a further case of that evidence also. And that all is having a real-time analysis that will project that entire what is happening in the remote location will be projected to the command control center also, with having an inbuilt 4G slot SIMs available that can be connected to that thing. So what is unique in the Norden? Norden actually having the wide range of products in terms of that to meet the end-to-end requirement of your smart city applications, whether it is a camera, whether it is an infrastructure cabling, or whether we have that public address system. All our products, cameras are cyber security certified by the certain approved lab. We have that NDAA compliance, which is mandatory nowadays to work in the Indian market. Plus we have all the products are more or less integrated with third-party application in different scenarios. So we have smart, you can say, ready to integrate with all the available products in that particular domain. Plus we have a proven track record, and all the products what we are supplying is kind of a certified with the work on the rugged kind of environment, outdoor applications. So we have that standards and certificate followed with that things. In terms of the cabling solution, we have that infrastructure, like typical scenario of that smart city application where that cables is the more important component, and we are just using cable as a passive devices. But with the help of our intelligent cabling solution, we can monitor entire infrastructure with the help of software. We can do asset management, and we can do a visualize that entire your rack system on the software platform, where you can have that do the configuration also if you want to do any particular port configuration. So that kind of flexibility and that kind of manageability we are giving in terms of the cabling systems. We have the command control setup kind of, we have a MTP kind of solution where you can deploy multiple fibers in a data center environment. These are some components of that data center solution products. We have intelligent PDU also. There you can monitor the what kind of loads are there in the racks. That all you can be customized, is all manageable devices. These are the components of these things. Then we have that, I told you that software is there. You can do a lot of asset management, inventory management. You can do a 3D mapping of your infrastructure assets deployed across the platform. And you can have that cross paneling and that interconnect also with that help of that software.
Today I'll be presenting our offerings in Safe City and primarily in Smart City segment. So why are we talking about a smart city or a safe city? I mean, I'm just trying to set the context here before I get in depth. Primarily, if you see, right now you have about 40 to 50% of the population in urban areas, and this is projected to grow close to about 70% by the year 2050. And the growth in the smart city segment is about 13%, 13.13%. That's a compounded annual growth rate. And in several research reports, it is established that right now you have about 250 smart cities. I think it varies from 250 to 600, because I think majority of the data is more skewed towards US and European segment. If you consider the smart cities in Russia, China, and in India alone, we have now almost about 80 to 100 smart cities live. So what do we offer for this segment? Primarily what we offer is our video management software. In simple terms, if I have to say, is your recording, monitoring, archival and live viewing application, and your video analytics, which is AI DL enabled, and your traffic management system, facial recognition, and your video surveillance as a service model. Majority of our investment right now is on the vSaaS platform. Primarily it's a cloud native application, which is microservices based, which is immediately possible for a rapid scalability. Just if I have to present the journey, Videonetics, we started in the year 2008, initially catering to all the applications of video analytics. So if you see, the primary customers of Videonetics is probably in US, UK or Middle East. But first opportunity we got is in the airports. Now airports, initial requirement was, people-based monitoring, object-based monitoring, and sort of your video recording software. So I think in the year 2010, we won about 3 airports, and right now we are managing about 80 airports in India, and some of the largest being Chennai and in Kolkata. And the police modernization, under police modernization, you have this requirement of your city surveillance, traffic planning, traffic management. We started serving these customers starting from about 2011 onwards. So we have almost about hundreds of cities, almost close to about 149 cities to be specific in India, where we are offering our solutions and where the police, law enforcement and traffic has been utilizing our applications. Currently, if you see, mostly we have been serving all the large industries because they have been moving from DVR, NVR to preventive sort of applications. It could be your industrial customers, that is in ONGC, NTPC, and the the Maharatna or the Navaratna companies who have been adopting this technology. So the company's core strength is in its R&D. We have patents granted in US, UK, Canada, Singapore, obviously India, and one of the most country to get your patents, that is in Israel. We have more than about 150 patents in this technology. I mean, I'll not spend too much of time on the awards and the rewards or accolades. This is broadly where the presence or deployment of our solutions has been. So when the video comes from a camera, if you enable the basic engine, it gives you the broad category of what type of objects it is, whether it's a person, human or animal. If I enable a detailed category, it gives you in terms of vehicle, what type of vehicle, whether it's a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, LMV, HMV. Obviously, it requires, I enable the layer based on the compute that is available. So once you do this, the only thing that is required is you need to enable smart, intelligent rules. If it's a group of people, you give a crowd alert. If it's a group of vehicles, you give a congestion alert. Now, the major problem that the authorities face, basis our interaction, is when they have thousands or lakhs of hours of video coming in your storage. How do you search? You can actually see in most of the control rooms, police is sitting, downloading the video samples, trying to search, when the incident has happened. There is a better way that these things can be done. How do you filter down and quickly search? So if you want to select a person, it's a male, and what kind of appearance, that is what kind of shirt he is wearing and whether he is wearing a backpack. And if you want to search from all these hours of video, these are some of the features that we enable. This is basis the demand of the customers, what we have been observing, so that you immediately go to the exact incidents. The same thing you can do it for vehicles as well. You select basis, let's say if there is a hit and run, if there is a rash driving, and when you have lakhs of hours of video, how do you quickly search? You select a vehicle, you select the color of the vehicle, and then you directly go to searching the cameras. So because of the limitation of time, I'll not go in depth. So there are various use cases that we can do. How you do the behavioral detection, that is whether it's a person collapsing or person assault or people fighting. We have many use cases that we have deployed in prisons. One of the prestigious is in Singapore prisons. So there is another use cases that we have been getting, that how do you manage the crowd? And let's say if there is a specific number of people that have to go to a bridge to prevent all the stampede, then how do you control? It detects, it counts the number of heads and gives you the count. So under traffic, we have been the first company to come up with the no helmet detection in 2018, and then triple riding, then you have your no seat belt, and we have driver on call. The next challenge is how do we improve the accuracy? So this is a pure Indian company where we have come up with the Arabic license plate detection, your Thai, that is for Thailand, for Thai license plate, for Bangla license plate. So being an Indian company, we have been serving the customers throughout the Asia Pacific market as well.
So today we would be covering our offerings in smart cities and smart mobility and transportations, what we have deployed across in India, and some of the solutions which we have covered in Middle East as well. So starting with the first, a quick fact about NEC Corporation. So NEC is a Fortune 500 global company with more than around 125 years of experience. We started our operations from Japan, Tokyo in 1899, and currently we have expanded our operations in across 50 plus countries, and we have an employee strength of around 1 lakh plus and currently a patent of around 45,000. And we have been ranked #1 in biometric solutions, where our chief expertise lies, and which has been recognized by various rating agencies as well. And if we talk about the revenue which we generated in last year, it was around 23 billion US dollar in 2024. Yeah. And if we talk about our presence in India, we are present in India for across 5 decades now, and we have our offices in Delhi, Noida, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, and Hyderabad. And with the employee strength of around 6,000 plus in India itself, we are catering to major customers in India, ranging from government sector and in private sector. If we talk about airport sectors as well. We are an ISO certified company and have experience of working on key technologies like IoT, data center and cloud, biometrics, ERP, AI and big data, automation opportunities as well. So on this slide, we wanted to provide a snapshot or presence from sea to space, if we talk about. And so NEC Corporation has a very versatile expertise and solution capabilities, as is visible from this map. We have been servicing thousands of customers, including niche segments like satellite, retail, logistics, and hospitality segment, catering to some government sectors as well. In submarine cabling, one of the project which we did for Kenai, where we laid down fiber optics from we connected the Chennai location to Andaman Nicobar. So that was one of the major projects we did for Kenai. And our main focus remains for the ICT driven solutions, where we want to improve the social infrastructure. So if we talk about R&D facilities across the globe, we have around 8 centers. If we talk about the India location, our R&D center is based out of Bangalore. And I talked about some patents, around 45,000 patents we have been released so far. And as with most of the high-tech firms, we invest around top 10% of our top lines into the R&D space. Across, if you see on this slide, we have mentioned like $1 billion we have been spending on research, on the research labs. Yeah. So our presence in India, as I talk about, over 7 decades we have been in India, and since then we have worked with various we have worked on various government initiatives. We have worked on various government projects of national importance like Aadhaar, UIDAI project, where we are catering to around 1.3 billion citizens of India. Some law enforcement projects like criminal identification for Karnataka, Kerala, and Surat, where we have been ranked number 1 by various rating agencies here as well. We have been supporting the state police departments to help reduce the criminal activities in these locations. And on the public transport services projects like BRT in Ahmedabad, we have our presence in these cities as well. And in submarine cabling from Chennai to Andaman Nicobar Island, which I just talked about, we have done projects of such kind as well. And in airport recently in the airport service sector, if I talk about, we have installed our biometric solutions, which has helped in touchless boarding of the passengers across 4 airports currently. Pune, Vizag, Vijayawada, and Varanasi. And we have some other solutions, biometric solutions, which we have deployed across AI airports across India. And so these are some of the key projects which we have done, which are highlighted on this map, starting from 1956 to 2024, and we are still growing and moving ahead. Solutions is divided basically into 2, the smart cities and smart transportation. So I will first cover some smart cities solutions which we are offering currently. And as we see that our catering is basically into law enforcement and border control, we are also catering to government customers, where we are doing some security infrastructure projects, citizen ID project, digital government infrastructure projects. In aviation, we are trying to improve the passenger safety and comfort with the help of the end-to-end touchless access at the airports. And in smart and safe city projects, we are doing effective city operations, urban governance, trying to improve the citizen safety with the help of any emergency response system, and try to reduce the crime at least with the help of the smart city and safe city projects.
Anand Bhaskar, CEO and co-founder at Digital Blanket, which is an early stage startup focused on IoT, and it's an IoT and SaaS platform focused primarily on decarbonization and sustainability in the real estate sector. Real estate sector, as most of you know, contributes nearly 40% of the economies of the carbon of the emissions in the world, and that's an important sector to handle. I think My friend talked earlier on about the importance of sustainability after the construction is over, and we see that this is a big problem primarily from an operations perspective, and that's where we sort of come in to sort of create a future where businesses and the planet can thrive together. That's the option on which we are sort of currently working on. Moving forward, if you look at it, the need for accelerating decarbonization and sustainability isn't a matter of choice today. I mean, it's a key mandate, it's a boardroom conversation across all corporations. CFOs have to report how they are doing on emissions. And clearly there is a mandate, there are requirements, there is a ever urgency to sort of reduce the carbon emissions. But what is the challenge that the organizations are facing in this perspective? First is the fact that, during the construction phase, there are a lot of technologies, a lot of areas where there is a lot of technology which comes in, but how do you make it sustainable? How do you make it repeatable? The most important problem which CFOs and sustainability officers are facing is the lack of reliable, authentic data which they can rely on and sort of take it forward from there, right? So that's the key area where customers are sort of struggling from, in terms of having the tools to sort of progressively manage and reduce their carbon emission. With that as the backdrop, if you look at the real estate world is, if you look at, there are two parts to it. One is during the construction phase and second is during the operations phase. The operations phase especially, as one of our earlier speakers pointed out, there is a lot of issues around operating. You create an infrastructure, but how do you maintain it? How do you ensure that the operators are trained? Today we have a lot of issues around some of these areas, with dispersed building environments, having multiple vendors, ability to sort of concentrate and collect data from multiple sources. There's a huge issue around manual maintenance, ability of, it's very, very personnel dependent. In today's world, ability to get trained and skilled personnel is a big challenge. And energy and space wastage is something that we see all across in all the buildings. The fundamental issue here is buildings were designed for comfort and not for economy/optimization. I was sitting there and I was freezing, and I'm sure somebody out there sitting there may not be feeling very comfortable. So I think those are some of the big issues. And similarly, if you look at it from an asset management as well, it's very, very siloed. You have your BMS systems, you have your water systems, you have your energy systems. All of them are siloed, but they are but they are primarily set up but not managed on a regular basis. So these are some of the issues that our real estate industries are facing, and that's what we we see 6 key areas of change which we can influence using digitization. The first one is around certification. WELL is a building certification, and there is a lot of work that needs to be done on that. Building management systems primarily were used for monitoring, right? Today there is an opportunity with digitization to monitor, to provide visibility, to monitor and control, and all of those areas leveraging AI and sort of all the predictive analytics that can be put into it. Energy saving, decarbonization in the entire real estate arena, with HVACs consuming almost 40-50% of the building's energy consumption, is a huge area for optimization, and currently a lot of organizations are focused on that. We have colleagues here working on operational and interactive digital twin. That gives a lot of opportunity for vendors, for customers to manage their entire infrastructure from one place, give them a multiple views, hierarchical views of managing a building versus a portfolio of buildings or portfolio of hospitals or hotels or whatever you have.
First of all, thanks for the organizers again for this opportunity, like every year almost. And thanks Dr. Sumit for calling me out here. I represent Astricos AI, and we saw right now the devices side of the safe city or urban mobility side from the Norden solution, and then the video intelligence from the Videonetics. Dear friend Ravi spoke about it, and then we heard about the solutions from NEC about the infrastructure side of it entirely. Now I'm going to talk about something different, which is how to make all these systems generate a data, of course, which is still not part of the video analytics. Maybe it is raw data. What do we do with the raw data? So that is what Astrico's platform by name of SIAP Omnific addresses. And how we have done this in some of the cases I'm going to show you, and also I'm going to talk about some of the acute angles where data intelligence, business intelligence, how it can power the urban administration in order to keep up the safety, security, and the various unseen areas or the blind spots around it. So just a quick intro on Astricos. Astricos platform is predominantly the data-based machine learning powered artificial intelligence platform, which works on the big data. We work in the areas of smart city, safe city, as well as the sustainability or the sustainable urban infrastructures. So we work across the globe from India, the company from India to the globe. That's what we, bear the flag as. And we are already in India and Middle East, Southeast Asia, and now in Americas. Just recently we have entered into these territories. So just a glimpse of the platform, what does it do overall? So now I said about what we can do about the raw data that is getting generated from in an urban system, right? So when we look at the urban mobility, it could be the safety, security, surveillance, it could be. The cameras are one type of the instruments that generate a set of a data that is probably the video log, which will be taken care by Videonetics kind of a solution. However, there is something which is further created or which can be a leftover, which is nothing but the raw logs. Right? The raw logs are also getting generated. Similar to the cameras, there are traffic controllers, there are sensors. Right, nowadays, if you see in any of the new adaptive traffic implementations, you probably see that there are a lot of VAC systems which are coming in, vehicle actuated control or vehicle accumulated control systems. All these data helps the urban mobility, right? It gets accumulated, but nobody probably uses it to make it more, bring in more intelligence into the urban mobility, urban security, urban safety. Some of the cases what we do is ultimately create a business intelligence around it, where this particular data is taken and the intelligence is driven out of that using the machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms, and then put it back into the action by means of looking at all the systems in a holistic angle, such as, if whatever camera is detecting, which has to be given to the emergency management system or the top level executive management of the urban administration, and then help them in planning, forecasting for the respective decisions to be taken, and automatically pushing it back into the workflow or the computer-aided dispatch kind of a systems. So this is what this particular screen talks about, is one of the such cases, is about how the data could be used. And further to that, how do we give a better visualization using the GIS-based digital twin experience and all of them? Create a intelligence dashboard, and then also create the 3D-based GIS system where also it can take to the nth level of the data-driven approach overall and drill down to the granular issue and then get the intelligence out of it and automatically suggest the advisories, because unless the analytics is or the data is useless if it doesn't drive the action. So that is where the system comes into the picture to do that. You see on your screen there are about, I think, 1.4 million records. Out of that, a small 3 or 4 advisories for the urban administrators who do not have time to take decisions, right? It has to act as the decision support system. That's what you are seeing. And more giving some of the geotemporal, geocadastral mapping out of it, and also detect the congestion spots or where are the more accidents or incidents are happening because of the uncontrolled mobility or improperly managed mobility, and how it is trending over the period of time. All these kind of acute analytics are brought into the picture. Similarly, it can be for any scale, right? It can be from the data from the multiple agnostic sources where the platform can understand that and then also do these things. These are some of the use cases which I'm showing you out here. And more to go is, yes, we do have a camera kind of assets or a controller kind of assets, they are there. The thing is, it is not just only to see that whether they are on or off. or they are sending data, but are they really sending accurate data, or are they sending the wavered data? That's the most important aspect. That is where the micro analytics comes into the picture on the assets and the reliability of the data that is coming from the assets. So then what do we do out of that? The thing is, take this kind of intelligence and put it back into the action by means of the computer-aided dispatch systems, feeding into that, or the workflow management systems, or the business process management systems with the power of the data intelligence. So that is what is one of the examples which you are seeing on your screen right now. I will not explain much of the screen in the interest of the time.
Kind of things Everos has done, you'll really proud of because this is a company originating out of India. Everos was established in 2015 with some analytics, with some enthusiast engineers. Currently we have our office in Gurgaon, and we have over 80 team members. Half of them are computer vision and data scientists. So we have a very strong team working on AI locally here in India. Okay. We have opened our offices in Bangalore, have resident offices in Mumbai and Dubai. And the way things are going up, I think by next year we'll be opening our office in US as well as in Latin America, in Sao Paulo. So we have an app store for video analytics, have about over 70 various types of analytics onboarded on our platform, which I'm going to show in the next slides. Around 1,000 videos per minute, 60,000 feeds deployed on our platform, 3 million lines of code have been written, 1.5 million deep learning interfaces per second we process. So we are a Series A funded company. Around 2022-23 we got 7 million funding from very big deep tech VCs, Xfinity and Inflexer and Veda VC. So the problem of video analytics, what we realized very early was there are multiple use cases, individual platforms. On those platforms and cameras, the analytics are running. So once you have to deploy a new use case, then you have to have a separate infrastructure for that. So we understood this very early, and that's how we started building a unified platform which can cater to multiple video analytics use cases under one roof. So on the left side, as you can see, we have different use cases like facial recognition or people counting or traffic monitoring, all these things running on separately on different platforms with cameras and servers. On right, you can see it's a dynamic, scalable, unified system of Everos. So you have at the base, you have different cameras, then integrated servers, and on that Everos platform is sitting. So in a single platform, you can have multiple use cases. In a way that today I have acquired one use case for video analytics, and I want to have another analytics, so we can easily transform that particular camera, giving a different feedback and doing a different analytics. So those kind of flexibility we provide. So currently we have 70 use cases already built by us, but we are also open to having other developers deploy solutions on our platform. So on the next slide, as you can see, we have Kubernetes-based architecture, so it is very highly scalable. We have seamless integration with other VA video analytics ecosystems. We are hardware agnostic. On the left side, you can see that we have click and upload kind of user interface, so very easy to deploy. In the morning session, Jaiswal Saab was speaking about NEC and Everos bringing together various analytics in Delhi Safe City projects. So if you go around in Delhi and you find a yellow pole that belongs to NEC and there are cameras, so all the feeds going back is being processed by Everos. So there are around more than 10 use cases which we are doing, including the facial recognition for watch list monitoring. And this is so far the largest database which we are processing, which we have received from Delhi Police. So very large number of subjects being watched. If the moment they come in front of the cameras, there will be an alert, and there are series of actions which Delhi Police can take. Similarly, there are use cases like women in distress, the crowd counting, the traffic monitoring, the accident detection. Those kind of use cases are there in the Delhi Police deployment.
Just wanted to thank all the speakers who imparted a lot of knowledge with respect to creating safe city for India, as well as probably going forward for other countries and geos also. My topic of discussion is more on how to safeguard this data. Like say if you are talking about these video cameras generating a lot of images, or we are getting a lot of feeds from different sensors across different places in the city, and there is a ransomware attack, or probably there is a malware attack. How exactly we can safeguard the data which has been created, and what are the different zero trust principles which can be applied in order to basically safeguard this data. So ideally data security is there in the information security field for quite some time, but what we have observed is specifically on the data security side, if we talk about a lot of large deployments on the data security side across different organizations in India, so the technology is failing because the kind of alerts which this technology generates, so it's alert fatigue driven technology, and the instant management become very difficult for any organization who is dealing with large amount of data. So in a pitfall, what I can say is out of the different information security fields, this particular security field, I would say, became a pain, and a lot of organizations were ideally adapting this particular technology just for the compliance purpose. So there was no good value add which was coming out, which I have seen. There are a lot of deployments across large enterprises in India and even government bodies where this technology is adapted because of compliance, but if I talk about the value adds, they are not there. So how exactly we can drive more value add with the help of cloud computing and AI technology? Because initially, like Archimedes said, like if you can give me a fulcrum, I can lift the earth. So basically, if you have the right set of tools and technologies driven by a specific strategy, like I was talking about the zero trust strategy, which has been there in the information security field since last more than 10 years now, how we can apply these principles and how we can deal with the challenges which we have observed on a lot of deployments which we are seeing across India, specifically on the data security side, and make it useful or a value add for the organizations and even the government like smart city. So typically when we talk about zero trust principles, these are few of the key elements on the zero trust principle side. Whether you talk about the continuous verification, so any data which is generated, so it has to be verified whether the data which you are generating, is it not corrupted or manipulated by hackers? And again, if you want to basically safeguard the data, like you need to adapt the technologies which can basically limit the blast radius, so that even if there are attacks on the data, how it can be safeguarded. So there has to be backups of backups with respect to security technologies, like defense in depth can be one of the approach inside the zero trust security framework. And again, any kind of data which is generated, so it has to be explicit. Explicit trust has to be there on the data. It should not be implicit. Like there have been a lot of hacking attempts which have happened. Like say if I talk about like some of the recent ones like SolarWinds. So where the attacker misused the implicit trust on the identity provider, and with the help of that, it was able to infiltrate the SolarWinds application. So ideally, like say if we are giving authorization to a particular user for a specific data, you have to basically decide whether this particular user is a genuine user or not, and the data which is coming or being used by this particular user is protected or safeguarded. In addition to that, there has to be a lot of automation, because when we are generating these petabytes of data, how exactly we can basically automate the identification of this data, and how exactly the ecosystem can be formed which can help in safeguarding this data holistically. So When you talk about these zero trust principles, which have been now started getting applicable on the data security field, it is helping us basically safeguard this critical data. And even the government, like if you talk about NIC, one of the big body on the information security and cyber security for India, they have also started adapting the zero trust strategies in order to safeguard their infra. So when you talk about specifically the zero trust framework, which I talked about, like it has been there since last more than 10 years, and a lot of organizations have started adapting this framework. There is some misconception with respect to identity. A lot of organizations feel that identity is basically the zero trust framework, or if we are able to deploy a multi-factor authentication or authorization solution, so that forms part of a zero trust security for the organization. But this is not true. Ideally, if we talk about a zero trust security strategy, there are a lot of facets to it. Identity is one key element. I'm not saying that we have to completely bypass or we don't have to think about the identity piece, but it is one of the key element. But there are other multiple elements also inside the zero trust security framework, which is helping us safeguard the data.
So we are present in India, say about for 20, we are a 100-year plus company, and with present in India for say about last 25 years, lot of customers globally present and headquartered in France, and with research centers and development and everything based out of India. So we have lot of Indian presence now, and development centers in India from 25 years, tax supports from India, employees 500 plus, high growth in, we are doing real good in government vertical. We have been present in lot of spaces, and for all English speaking countries we support directly from India. So you can say we are doing a lot to enhance our local content present in India as such, all firmware development for all our products and everything from India. And data security, everything is there, but we are the ones who ensure the media for the data to be transferred. So all the media analytics, whether it is voice, whether it's data, whether it's wireless, whatsoever you talk about, all the media that is required securely with bandwidth hungry and everything, that is something we provide. We provide it across the verticals. We provide it with government, education, healthcare, transportation, energy, utilities, hospitality. These are some of the areas where we concentrate much on, but of course we are present in almost every sector we talk about. Few of my product lines, actually, if you talk about networking product lines, whether it's industrial, whether it's temperature hardened, whether it's core switches, you talk about high bandwidth hungry, or what you talk about, we have all sort of complete switching platforms, say about from 50 terabit to say about industrial switches, all L2 switches, SMB switches, whatsoever talk about. Now Wi-Fi 6 is in, but 6E, 7, you talk about as soon as, it's bandwidth hungry, as you grow up with the bandwidth, it's going on. So we have all the platforms on Wi-Fi platforms. We have complete network management, wireless, all on cloud, on premise, whatsoever talk about, we have all the solutions available with us.
My name is Anand Navani. I am the country head for Intelliscene US. In the light of recent events which you are all aware, the focus has become more on the law and order and how we can strengthen it further. I think it is imperative not only on the decision makers, people who were there before me, but I think as a team, it is very, very important for us to create a strong deterrence towards any crime which may be taking place within the city or in any campus. During the course of the next 10 minutes, I'm going to share with you some of the best practices which Intelliscene has adopted globally. But it is important for us to understand what are the challenges which we face. It's been almost 10 years, but have we reached a place where we are able to standardize? It's a difficult answer to get. I think the first challenge which we all face is diversity. It was discussed early in the morning. Every city or campus is unique. It is unique in its characteristics. It's leading to different systems which exist, but they don't talk to each other. We have so many examples in Indian cities also that there are 2 or 3 command and control centers for the same application. So imagine what? It's 2x the investment and probably 50% of the return. This is not efficient. And another thing which we always lack is the accountability. What happens if we spend 100 crores, 200 crores, and the system is how it is after 2 years, 3 years? This is something which is, in spite of having the best technology, is very difficult to measure, very difficult to measure the performance of the. And I want to actually take a vote here that I think every system which we implement, the KPIs have to be clearly defined. And this is where Intelliscene, we feel that every system needs to be measured in terms of performance, both by the citizens as well as the users. Because the user uses it 24/7 for critical actions. And it's high time we talk about measuring even the ROI of the deployment, which we do at such a large scale. But what if I tell you that we at Intelliscene are able to connect all the dots for you to see the complete security picture? How do we do this? This is the current state of affairs in most of the places. There are multitude of data sources. Even a small campus, even a hotel like this would probably have the video, the intrusion, the access control, the database, fire, but they don't talk to each other. Intelliscene provides an ISOC in which the entire risk visualization and the confident decision making which the operator is required to do is available because the systems get connected. And as a result, there's a coordinated response. You don't need multiple operators, you just need one operator and the SOPs. This is what we need. And Symphia Control is a platform which encompasses all this intelligent SOC solution, whether it is indoor, outdoor, analog, digital, old system, new system. We have the capability to integrate all of the third-party systems and bring it onto a common platform. What you see on the screen is a single interface which a customer gets, which has the alarm management capability, the incident management capability, the video management, the importance of maps in our city, which is so crucial. The dispatch and collaboration which happens on a different platform, it can be Intelliscene, it can be third party. And the investigation and search, again, from any vendor. It doesn't really matter. So our goal is actually to enable the security officers to tackle crime and events which are reported to them promptly. The GUI interface of the software is so user-friendly, it takes few days for the operator to get conversant with the system. Because actually they may be developed outside India, but they have been heavily customized for an Indian operator. We know the reality of Indian operator. Probably they are matric, they are not that IT friendly. So it is our responsibility to have a system which is actually much more collaborative with the operator, guiding him through every process. That's where the SOPs come into the picture. So whether it is interacting, putting up an audio, two-way action taken upon alarms and incidents, the debriefing, the training, this is all part of the system. And not only the software actually combines the power of video images with business intelligence and artificial intelligence to create a common operating picture for the operator so that he knows what happened, where it happened, and what he needs to do. A single window like what you see on the screen is what the operator needs to take decisions on and ensure that not a single second is wasted when it comes to responding to any accident or a crime which has been committed. And there are so many incidents which we can relate that something got delayed although the digital evidence or a lot of information was available, but we couldn't act on time. So this is where the role of the standard operating procedure comes in, and we are given this power of designing the SOPs right into the hands of the user. But we don't want this technology to be only limited to command and control. That okay, there's a one-way alarm and then you take an action. Our real safety would be, and our sustainability would be, if we take this to the masses. If we don't really confine to the data centers only.
We are an NVIDIA-backed company backed by their flagship program in Silicon Valley. Our global headquarters are in India. We are present in 5 cities here. We are present in multiple cities in Middle East and Europe. We are also going forward with our US presence in the next month. This is what the product is. So imagine, your smart city. So much data is coming from different cameras. So much data is coming from so many IoT sensors. Have we ever thought, how are we going to visualize, represent this data and analyze this data? That's where we work in. It's a 3-dimensional replica of a city. So all your critical infrastructure, whether it might be bridges or oil and gas facilities in terms of industrial cities, your transportation, mobility, everything comes in a 3-dimensional replica in front of you. It is commonly referred to as a digital twin. We do digital twins. I would like to highlight the problem a little bit more. So taking a small example of industrial city and a small infrastructure inside the industrial city. This is an oil rig, and this is one of the latest systems on how the oil rig is managed. You can see that on top there are different kind of systems like fuel systems, valve controls. You can see different layers on your left. You can see a lot of systems on your right also. So if I need to see what's happening in my accommodation air intake port over here, and I need to connect it to utility port, I sometimes need to cycle through as many as 5,000 screens to do that. Do you think it's humanly possible to do all the analytics and constantly monitor these many screens? So this is what this leads to, is the problem of dark data. In smart cities also, we can have a look at these dashboards. Now, how many of you can quickly drive an insight from the dashboard that you're seeing on the screen? I mean, 99% of people, 0.1% people with highly analytical mind might be able to do that. But majority of us, it is very difficult to read these dashboards and drive insights. Whenever a problem happens, that's when we react as to what caused the problem, and then we do the root cause analysis of it. So this is what we are here to change. So going back to the example of the oil rig, this is a much better way of representing the same data. You can see the tank levels going up and down. This is how we are used to seeing them in the real life, and this is how we can see them here. You have an assistant on bottom right, which is an AI-powered assistant. This is more like a co-pilot version of yours, which is constantly going through all of this data and analyzing it. So rather than just analyzing your emails and drafting essays and all for you, AI can do much more. Here it is able to find the root cause of why the tank levels are going down with the historical data and current. So the immediate cause might be there might be some problem in the valve, but the deep root cause is that there is heating being generated in the radiators. So without even breakdown happening, we can prevent breakdowns from happening and operation inefficiencies.